Hi friends, this is lecture number 33.2. Here in this video, we are going to see the parameter calculation for three-phase full wave controlled bridge rectifier. See, this is the diagram of bridge rectifier and these are two waveforms for alpha is equals to 0 and alpha is equals to 30 degree. Here we can clearly see that each thyristor conduct for 120 degree. This has already been told to you in my previous video where I explained the operation of one phase three phase full wave control bridge rectifier. There we see that this thyristor T1, suppose this is for alpha is equals to 0, this thyristor T1 conduct from 30 degree to 150 degree. Similarly, this thyristor T2 conduct from 90 degree to 210 degree. So in this way each thyristor conduct for 120 degree. So we can say that conduction angle of each thyristor is 2 pi by 3, that is equals to 120 degree. Now here another important point here you must notice that during one cycle of 360 degree, that this is the total cycle of 360 degree, we get 6 pulse at output voltage. See, this is pulse number 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5 and this is 6. So we are getting 6 pulses at output voltage during the cycle of 360 degree. That's why these types of converters are called 6 pulse converter. Now we will see the expression of output voltage, that is average output voltage for continuous conduction mode. For this we take an example of continuous conduction mode. Here see this, for this alpha is equals to 30 degree, this is the waveform of continuous conduction mode. Here we can see that thyristor T1 is triggered at omega t is equals to 60 degree, and after omega t is equals to 60 degree thyristor T1 and T6 will conduct. Now when T1 and T6 conduct, you can see that output voltage V0 is equals to VA0 minus VB0, that is equals to VAB, because VAB is equals to VA0 minus VB0. So we get V0 is equals to VAB, and we get this output voltage V0 is equals to VAB from, see, in this waveform we can clearly see that this thyristor T1 was triggered at 60 degree, means omega t is equals to 60 for alpha is equals to 30 degree, because we take alpha is equals to 0 for omega t is equals to 30. So we trigger thyristor T1 at omega t is equals to 60 degree, means 30 plus alpha is 60 degree, and it will conduct up to this 90 degree. Okay, so up to this, sorry, 120 degree, that is 90 plus alpha. Here alpha is 30 degree, so it will conduct up to 90 plus alpha. So we get VAB from 30 plus alpha to 90 plus alpha. Now see, these are the three phases of phase voltages, that is VA0, VB0 and VC0. They are phase displaced by 120 degree. Now we have to find the vector for VAB. How we can find? See, this VBO is this is the phasor for VBO, that is phase voltage of phase B. Then what is minus VBO? It will be equal and opposite to this VBO. So this equal and opposite vector is called minus VBO. So this is minus VBO. And what is VAB? VAB is the vector sum of VA0 and minus VB0. So this is VA0 and this is minus VB0. If we make the vector sum of these two, then we will get the vector for VAB. So this is the vector for VAB. Now we can clearly see that as these two vector VBO and VAO both are equal in magnitude, that's why we get this angle that is equals to 30 degree. So this VAB is phase displaced by 30 degree from this VAO, because this VAO, that is phase voltage of A, is taken as reference phasor. So we can say that VAB is 30 degree phase displaced by VA0. So we can write the expression VAB is equals to VL max, that is maximum value of line voltage, because VAB is line voltage. So maximum value of line voltage sine omega t plus 30 degree. 30 degree because it is phase displaced by 30 degree from reference phasor Va naught. Now we will integrate this waveform from 30 plus alpha to 90 plus alpha. And what is time period? That is equals to 2 pi by 6. You can clearly see here that time period of this waveform is 2 pi by 6. It means 60 degree. Now on integrating this we get 3 VL max upon pi cos alpha. If we put VL max is equals to root 2 VL, that is in terms of RMS value of line voltage, then we will get 3 root 2 VL upon pi cos alpha, because VL max is equals to root 2 VL. So this is the expression for average value of output voltage for continuous conduction mode. And here we can clearly see this. Average output voltage is 2 times that of half wave rectifier. Now we will see the expression of average value of output voltage for discontinuous conduction mode. For this, we will take an example of discontinuous waveform. See, this is a discontinuous waveform for alpha is equals to 90 degree. Here we will not get the negative part of waveform because load is resistive type. So we get this discontinuous waveform. Here we can see that this thyristor T1 is fired at omega t is equals to 90 degree for alpha, omega t is equals to 120 degree for alpha is equals to 90 degree. Because here alpha is equals to 90 degree, so we have to fire the thyristor T1 at 90 plus 30, that is 120 degree. So this thyristor T1 is fired at 120 degree and it will conduct up to 150 degree only. See, this is 150. So this thyristor will conduct up to 150 degree. See, I am showing you the point. This is 150 degree and this is 120 degree. So thyristor T1 is conducting from 30 plus alpha, that is 120 degree, to 150 degree. So we will get a time period from 30 plus alpha to 150 degree. And this and when this thyristor T1 is triggered, then we get output voltage VAB. It is already told you in my previous slide. So we get VAB, that is equals to VL max sin omega t plus 30 degree d omega t. So this is the expression of VAB which I have already derived in my previous slide. And this is the time period, that is equals to 2 pi by 6. Here we can see that time period is 2 pi by 6. So on integrating this we get VL max upon pi 1 plus cos 60 plus alpha. Now we know that each thyristor conducts for 120 degree. It means current will flow through each thyristor for 120 degree only. So if we have to write the value of average current and RMS thyristor current for continuous conduction mode, then we can directly write it as conduction angle upon total time period into maximum value of current. So here maximum value of current is I naught and thyristor conducts for 120 degree. Suppose alpha is equals to 0, then thyristor will conduct from 30 degree to 150 degree. So here conduction period is 120 degree. So we can directly write IT average equals to conduction angle, that is 120 degree upon total time period, that is 360 degree, into maximum value of output current. So on solving this we get I naught by 3 average current. Now if we have to write the RMS value of average current, then how we can write? We can directly write it as I naught by root 3. We simply take the square root of this 3. So these are all shortcuts which I have already discussed in my previous videos. So you have to consider all these shortcuts so you can very easily solve all these parameters without taking any time. So please remember all these concepts. Now we will see the average value of thyristor current and RMS value of thyristor current for discontinuous conduction mode. For discontinuous conduction mode, I already told you that thyristor conducts from 30 plus alpha to 150 degree. So total conduction angle is 120 minus alpha. So and you can verify it from this waveform. Here we can see that thyristor T1 conducts from 120 degree, that is 30 plus alpha. Here alpha is 90 degree to up to 150 degree. So this is conduction angle of thyristor, that is equals to 120 minus alpha. Now if we have to write the average value of thyristor current, then how we can write? We can simply write by dividing conduction angle by total time period. Here conduction angle is 120 minus alpha and total time period is 360. If we multiply it by maximum value of output current, then we will get the average value of thyristor current. Similarly, we can write the RMS value of thyristor current. For the writing the RMS value, what we have to do, we have to simply take the square root of this term which is multiplied by I naught, that is 120 minus alpha by 360 degree. So if we take the square root, we directly get the expression for RMS value of thyristor current. Now see, this is the diagram of fully controlled rectifier. Here we can see that this thyristor T1 conducts for 120 degree, and when thyristor T1 conducts, then current I0 will flow through this thyristor T1, and when this thyristor T4 conducts, and this thyristor T1 conducts for 120 degree, and when this thyristor T4 conduct, then we get current in this direction through this phase A0. Okay, and this thyristor T4 also conducts for 120 degree, so we get this negative part of this waveform. It means we get this waveform for source current in a phase for a complete cycle of 360 degree, where T1 conducts for 120 degree and T4 conducts for 120 degree. When thyristor T1 conducts, then we get current I0, and when thyristor T4 conducts, then we will get current minus I0. So in this way we can write, see here we can see that positive and negative half cycles of this source current waveform are equal. This positive half cycle is equals to negative half cycle, so we get average output current is equals to 0. And if we have to write the RMS value of output current, then we can directly write, see here total conduction period is 120 plus 120, that is equals to 240 degree. So here we get 240 in numerator, and total time period is 360 degree. So if we take a square root of this, then we will get the RMS value, that is equals to root 2 by root 3. I0 into root 2 by root 3, because I0 is the maximum value of this current. So all these are the shortcuts for calculating the average value and RMS value. Now we see that this source current is non-sinusoidal. When a current is non-sinusoidal, then we can represent it by using Fourier series. And using harmonic analysis, we can write source current as sigma n is equals to 6k plus 1 up to infinity 4 I naught n pi sin n pi by 3 sin omega t minus alpha. This is Fourier series expression for this source current waveform, and it has already been explained in my previous lecture. So you can, if you are not that much proficient in Fourier series, then you have to memorize this formula, because this formula is very important. So just memorize this formula, or if you know the concept of Fourier series, then you can easily find this. So the fundamental component of this current is, see, to find the fundamental component, what we have to do, we have to put here n is equals to 1. So if we put n is equals to 1, then we get fundamental component of the source current, that is equals to is1, that is equals to 4 I naught by pi sin pi by 3 sin omega t minus alpha. So this is the fundamental component, and this is the maximum value of fundamental component. And if we have to write the RMS value of fundamental component of current, then how we can write? We have to simply take the under root we have to simply, what we have to do, we have to simply divide this maximum value by root 2. So if we divide this maximum value by root 2, then we will get the RMS value of fundamental component. So now we can clearly see that here source voltage was Vm sin omega t, and here we get is1, that is equals to omega t minus alpha. It means this fundamental component of source current is phase displaced by source voltage by an angle alpha. So source voltage and this source fundamental component of source current are phase displaced by angle alpha. So we can directly write fundamental displacement factor is equals to cosine of this angle alpha. So it is equals to cos alpha. So this is the fundamental displacement factor. Now what is the distortion factor G? G is equals to RMS value of source current, RMS value of fundamental component of source current divided by RMS value of source current. See, RMS value of source current is equals to, what is this? See, this has already been told to you in this section, that is equals to I naught under root 2 by 3. So this is RMS value of source current. And what is RMS value of fundamental component? That is simply equals to maximum voltage by maximum current by root 2, and maximum value is 4 I naught upon pi sine 4 I naught by pi sine pi by 3. If we divide it by root 2, then we will get the expression of RMS value of fundamental component. So on solving this, what we get? We get 3 upon pi as distortion factor. And if we have to find the input power factor, then what we have to do? We have to simply multiply the distortion factor with fundamental displacement factor. Here 3 upon pi is the distortion factor and cos alpha is the fundamental displacement factor. So power factor is 3 upon pi cos alpha, and this is very important. Now if you analyze this circuit, then you can see that for alpha less than 60, each thyristor will be reversed bias for a period of 240 minus alpha. So we can simply write the circuit turn-off time is equals to 240 minus alpha by omega, and for alpha greater than 60 degree, each thyristor will be reversed bias for a period of 180 minus alpha. So we can directly write the circuit turn-off time as 180 minus alpha by omega. So this is all about this video. We have completed the parameter calculation of three-phase full wave controlled bridge rectifier. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram.